In this video, we're going to learn how to translate symbolic forms into mathematical words. So basically, we're going to work in the reverse direction compared to how we did in the last video. So in the last video, we were given phrases or statements, and we wrote the corresponding expression or equation. Here, as you can see, we're given symbolic expressions or equations, and we want to write them as phrases or statements. Okay? So there's definitely more than one way to do these. As you saw in the chart on the first page of the media lesson packets, we have different language for these. But we'll try to use a couple of different ones so you can acclimate to them, and we'll go from there. So let's look at the first one. So if you look at this just as numbers, okay, instead of trying to say it as an expression, we have 3 parentheses, x plus sign 5 close parentheses. So let's think about what's going on here. There's 2 operations, and I'm going to use a red pen to show them. We have addition between the x and the 5, and then we have multiplication between the 3 and the x plus 5. Okay? So there's a product and there's a sum. We can write the sum either as the sum of x and 5. Write that bigger. Or it's a little bit easier sometimes to write this as 5 more than x, which implies a sum. Okay. So we want the product of, the first factor is 3. Since the sum is in parentheses, that's our second factor. Okay. So this is going to be the product of now we're going to write the terms of our product just like we did in the reverse order. 3. Now I'm going to write the word n to show the second factor I'm multiplying by, and that's going to be 5 more than x. Okay, let's look at the next one. So what operations do we have here? Well, there's a fraction, so we're going to call that a quotient. We have a minus 3, so we can use 3 fewer than in this case. And notice in the numerator we have 2 times x. We could use the operation, the product of 2 and x, but again, that can get a little complicated, so how about we use 2 times x like we did in previous videos. So we have the quotient, this is the quotient of two times x, and the denominator in the quotient is 5. Okay. And now we want 3 fewer than that since it's subtracting 3. So now we're going to write our official phrase, but we're going to start with 3 fewer than, or 3 less than. Let's use fewer than, either one works. 3 fewer than the quotient of 2 times x and 5. Let's look at the next one. Notice here we have an equation, so we're going to use is, and we want to describe the left-hand side separately from the right-hand side, and then we'll use the connecting word is to show that it's an equation. Okay. So here we have 4 minus x. Okay. We could write this as x fewer than 4, or we could write this as the difference between 4 and x. Let's go with that one. Since that's the only thing on the left-hand side, I'm going to write the difference of, since I'm subtracting, that's why I'm writing the difference. The difference of, the first number in the difference is 4, and the second number in the difference is x. So the difference of 4 and x, now we have the equal sign, so we're going to write is. And the right-hand side is 3x. Okay, so we could write that as the product of 3 and x, or we could write that as 3 times x. So let's write it, we haven't done this yet, so let's write this as is the product of 3 and x. Okay. And I'm going to put a period at the end of this because notice we have a verb in here. This is an actual sentence or statement because it was an equation. Okay. Now let's look at the last one. Again, we have an equation. On the right-hand side, we have equals 5. So that's just going to be is 5. So we're going to have to deal with this left-hand side. And we did a problem like this before. Okay. So remember, we have two expressions, x plus 2 and x minus 3. Okay. We could think of x plus 2 as 2 more than x minus 3 is 3 fewer than x. But these results, since they're in parentheses and they're next to each other, juxtaposed, we want to multiply them. Okay. So we need the product of, so here's where our product goes. The product of, now let's look at our first factor. Let's write that as 2 more than x. Now we're going to use and to say what the second factor is. And the second factor is 3 fewer than x. Or let's use 3 less than x. 3 less than x, so taking x and subtracting 3. And then we have the equal sign, so it is 5. Okay. And that is our final result. See you at the next video.